Hello everyone. So we'll go ahead and we'll finish up the unit by just looking at the remaining South Asian countries, okay? So Bangladesh, again, is called was former East Pakistan, again, due to the Indian partition there. It is one of the most densely populated countries in the world. Think of it as, one of the states like North Dakota, South Dakota, Colorado here, Wyoming, having, over 100 million people. Again, it's quite a lot, comparable to Nigeria. Bangladesh is actually growing economically. I talk about this more in my human geography class. But the one thing that always plagues Bangladesh is they are very prone to natural disasters. What I mean by that is, is they are below sea level. So they are extremely prone to disasters when compared to a lot of other countries. As you can see in this map right here, of course, they are way below sea level, comparable to New Orleans. So during the monsoon season, they are constantly having to deal with flooding when, of course, compared to other countries. For Nepal and Bhutan, of course, related to our very last question here, I'm going to show you exactly where to access the information. Bhutan is a very isolated country here, okay? It is a mountain country that has really rejected globalization when compared to China or India, okay? You can clearly see by the image right here. And instead of gross domestic product or, gross national income we talked about in Europe, the king of Bhutan, although it's more of a constitutional monarchy now, has practiced what's called gross national happiness to protect the environment and its culture of the people. Now, gross national happiness has four different pillars, okay? It has sustainable development, meaning that people live within their means, okay? Environmental protection, meaning that they don't do a lot of, according to them, extraction of natural resources, but not only that, try to protect the environment as a whole, like a national park. Cultural preservation, which means that they don't allow, globalization there, not as much internet access, no exchanging of ideas when compared to, say, like China, United States, or India, and Japan, etc., okay? And good governance, meaning that the leader tries to be a good and inspirational leader for the people. Now, I've been asked before, can other countries do this? It'd be impossible, okay? Because you have to remember, if you're a world economic superpower like Japan, China, Russia, India, United States, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, etc., your economies are pretty interlinked, okay? Whereas here in Bhutan, not as interlinked as compared to those major countries I just mentioned here at the present. So what you're going to do is you're going to answer these two questions here. Give two factors for each. So why does Bhutan have expensive tourism fees? And they do, okay? I want you to give two factors why. But then my other question is, how does the expensive tourism fees relate to gross national happiness? I want you to look at how they're promoting both their environmental and cultural perspectives there within, okay, their country. And to access this, okay, remember, you do need to download the PDF. I'll show you exactly which pages it is here. Okay, let me scroll down here so that way, of course, you guys can see it. Whoops. Okay. Okay, so you do need to, of course, do the, digital PDF. Okay. And again, I was going to also assign this in a reading as well, too. I was actually going to pass it out during our regular class session, okay? Okay. So again, I'll show you exactly where it's at here, so just give me a couple minutes here. Okay, it will be there pretty quickly. Whoop. Go back up here. Let's make sure that we get it there. Okay. Okay. So we'll make sure that we go here, of course, okay? And we'll scroll down. And again, here it is for Bhutan, okay? So it is page 611, okay? And again, has right here the Kingdom of Bhutan, okay? So make sure that you start reading it from here, okay? And then just stop where it says the Kingdom of Nepal, okay? So make sure you stop there, okay? So I'll go ahead and I'll pause it so that way, of course, you guys can access it. And just remember, too, okay, as always, I do have the page numbers listed here so to help you guys out, okay? So I'll go ahead and I'll pause the video right here. So, of course, that way you guys can access it. And that way, of course, you can answer the questions. And again, I'll change this right here. I thought I did, but I'll make sure that you guys, when you have it, you, of course, will have the most updated page numbers, okay? So go ahead and pause the video here. So that way, of course, you guys can access it. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I'm going to Sri Lanka here. Sri Lanka, was Ceylon there before 1972. You actually have a lot of Tamils here that were there presently, but also a lot of the British brought over the Tamils too to work on the plantations there. There are actually a lot of tensions there between the Tamils and the Sinhalese, okay? They do not like each other, okay? The Sinhalese are predominantly Buddhist. The Tamils are predominantly Hindu. And they have never liked each other, okay? Kind of like in Northern Ireland with the Protestants and Catholics, okay? And this has created tension here, okay? So again, this is an area here that's, been under contention here. And actually, there were even terrorist bombs, even with the Tamil Tigers, although the Tamil Tigers have been defeated. And you can see here the different ethnic groups there within the region. I'm briefly going to talk about Central Asia. Just know that it is an example of Russification, because if you go to parts of northern Kazakhstan here, or even far western Kazakhstan, you do have ethnic Russians living there, okay? So the ethnic Russians there, of course, are bringing Russian culture and has influence, particularly in Kazakhstan, okay? Although it is the giant, okay, you can see here in its capital, you can see the globalization with Coca-Cola and LG there. And I'll say this, Uzbekistan, like Kazakhstan, is the one suffering with the Aral Sea disappearance that we talked about earlier. So I'm going to end it here, okay? Next unit will be East Asia. That'll be, of course, the last one, that you guys need to know for exam number 4, okay? And again, let me know if you have any questions, okay?